Welcome to Turning Point. Rising hip-hop star Cannon has toured with chart-topping artist Lecrae. Now he's released his own CD, Loose Cannon, which quickly rose to number 23 on iTunes and Amazon, where it remains the #1 Christian and gospel album. And he's here with us today. Please welcome Cannon. How are you, sir?
How's it going?
Good. Now, your name sounds dangerous. Cannon.
Yeah.
Tell us what your full name is.
My full name, or government name, is Aaron McCain.
You call it government name. What's that mean?
That's the name that my mother gave me.
Okay.
But as we have known, my other name, nickname, stage name, has been known to be Cannon.
Now, where did that come from?
Well, simply, well, a couple things. One, another term for the scriptures or for the Bible is called the canon. It's the rule and standard of scripture. But we also have another term where it's like cannon, like explosion. And so, of course, that's spelled slightly differently, but it's a play on words. And so one thing is, I'm not saying myself that I'm the scriptures. I'm not the Bible by any means. But that's the only thing that I'm going to spit about. That's the only thing I'm going to talk about. And at the same time, with myself loosely, I'm going to do so. So utilizing my personality, the character that God has given me, I've known to be a free spirit. I've known to be an individual that has an exploding type of personality. Because
it's refreshing to know that there's a bit of Bible in there somewhere, because, you know, to talk hip-hop and then hear him called Cannon, like, Lord, anything could happen. So here you are, you're a young man, you've traveled with Lecrae, I know you've been to God's own country, you've been to the UK, to London with Lecrae, but now you have your own project. But there was something that intrigued me about your journey, one of which is that you outsold Toby Mac and Newsboys at one point. Oh my goodness. Oh, should I say, OMG. How did that happen?
Man, that's by God's grace. Toby Mac and Newsboys, man, they've been here for a while, man, and they're some very talented individuals. So for that to happen, didn't see that coming by any means. That was a surprise even on my part. Like I just didn't see that coming at all. So that's by just God's grace, man. I'm just traveling this road, and the Lord is just driving, and I'm just rolling with him. So.
But you're not just a guy who got up and started spitting, as you call it. You studied. You went to Bible college.
Yeah.
Tell us why you, and I mean, you're a rapper, man. It doesn't sound so hip going to Bible college.
Well, I actually started doing music very young in my years. I'm about 23 now, but I started when I was about 10 or 11. And I was already rapping, I was already doing music, and it got to the point where it's about time for me to go to college when I'm 18. And so one thing was that I had already began to do Christian rap at a young age, and so what I wanted to do was I wanted to grow spiritually. I wanted to know more in the scriptures. I wanted to experience more from the scriptures, and I thought that may be a route to do so. And so I looked up Crichton College back in Memphis, Tennessee, and I ended up going to Crichton College to study theology and just all different types of classes. And so, I mean, I got a great amount of studying from there. I wanted my music to really impact people theologically, and so, but I knew I had to have something to say.
Now, how does your experience in Bible college and what you learned, how does that inform what you write? Do you like sit down with concordance and Hebrew and Greek Bibles and say,
Yeah. Now we learned how to write sermons. We learned how to. We studied Greek and Hebrew and whatnot, but if you listen to my music, you don't necessarily hear Greek and Hebrew being communicated in my music. My music is more so experiential, so you may hear more about my life experiences through my music. And so one of the grand things that I learned from Bible college was, my original intent to go to Bible college was to really learn more about the Bible. I felt like that was really the only route that you could take until I found out, well, there were other friends around me that knew 10 times more about the Bible than I did. They taught me just how to break down the Bible. And so what I learned was Bible college isn't necessarily the only route to utilize or to take to understand the scriptures, to learn Greek and Hebrew. Some brothers taught me that just sitting down at the table. So, but that's not to discredit going to college for extra studies on theology. But that's just to say that what I learned personally was, one, you definitely want to take academics more than just academics. Like, you want to be able to experience God while going through academics, and at the same time, like, be a light in that academic circle. You're not just there to learn about God, but you're there to experience God, and at the same time be a light among students.
Let me ask you about that phrase you use, experiencing God, because for you, what you do is about allowing people to experience God. For you, as you've traveled with the Gray around the world, and now you traveled as an artist yourself, what have been some of the moments where you've personally, whilst you've ministered, experienced God, or some of the stories you've heard back from people about their experience of God through your music?
Oh, yeah. Let me say, well, let's start with Lecrae. So when I'm traveling with Lecrae, he does a song called The Background. Like, I can play the background. And one thing is, when I'm on stage, I'm an artist with another artist, but at the same time, I'm backing him up. So it's not my show, it's not my performance, it's his. And so sometimes in my heart, I'm fighting, like, man, like, I want to position myself as an artist, but at the same time, like, I need to be able to play the background. And so pretty much when that song hits, like, on stage, I'm like, oh, God, just, man, let me play the background, Lord. Like, I'm so arrogant. I'm so prideful. Like, I'm up here. Like, I want to make a name for myself, just like in Genesis, where they want to create the Tower of Babel, and they really just wanted to make a grand name for themselves. And I was like, man, I'm no different, man. I need to chill out. Wow. And so even on stage, I'm like, man, you know what? I need to be able to play the background, Lord. Just take the lead. Like, you know what? It's not my show. It's not about me. It's not even about Craig, man. Let me just be able to step behind and let me be able to present God. And so God just comes down crashing like, oh, this is who I am.
Now, I've got like 20 seconds, and I really would love to hear any stories of people who have experienced your ministry and how they've come back, but I've got like 15 seconds now.
Okay, yeah, so, all right, so I wrote a song called Say Yeah on the Loose Cannon Project, and on the second verse, it's geared towards individuals who struggle with pornography or masturbation, just that type of sin of lust, and I've gotten tons of emails where this, like, individuals like, man, Cannon, I appreciate just being able to write that verse, because we're struggling out here, and this is a real deal issue that most men are ashamed to communicate, and I want them to be able to be to be able to man up, to confess, to pursue righteousness, to pursue holiness, and at the same time pursue change, because that's what God is calling. And there are a lot of broken and hurt people, and so we want to be able to have men and women be able to pursue confession, pursue righteousness, pursue holiness, and tear down the curtain, because God sees it all, and you can't move on until you do so.
Cannon, thank you so much for joining us on Turning Point.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
Later in the program, we'll have a performance from Cannon that you don't want to miss. Coming up after the break, the story of a woman who turns to sex to find her worth. Don't go away. Welcome back to Turning Point. The woman in our next story loved the attention and feeling of power she got from showing off her body. So she decided to make a living out of it. She turned to the sex industry to feed her desire for power. Yet the payoff for her reckless behavior would prove costly. Take a look.
You're capturing everybody's attention. You're in the spotlight. $1,000 a week. I thought I was on top of the world. Your body comes alive. It was the money. How could I refuse it?
Easy money. That's what seduced 17-year-old Teresa Rickenberger into topless dancing.
I needed a job.